Today we will study about PHP and database operations like insert, update, delete. Uh, okay, but before that, little bit understand the scenario. So if you see if if you look at a dynamic web page, for example, this one, okay, uh, dynamic web page means that the web page is connected to a backend, a database, and the database may be any database like MySQL or SQL Server or SQLite, anyone. There are many databases. So the user interface, this design, that whatever is displayed here, this one is designed by HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We have already covered this. Okay, uh, and at the same time, this web page is connected to a database. Okay, the website, the page is sending data to the database, and at some time the web page need information and data from the database and then display here on the page. So meaning to say the web page and the database, it is connected to each other. There is a connection between them. So one important point is the connection, and second part is the database. We will cover this also. Okay, which database we will use? We will use MySQLite. Okay, and we will talk about all these connections. Okay, so the page is sending data to the database and requesting data from the database. So there is two-way traffic between the web page and the database, and this is why it is called dynamic web page, because whatever data is retrieved from the database, it will be displayed here dynamically. Okay, so dynamically means that you cannot fix values, because we don't know whatever data will be retrieved from the database. So database, we will talk about this also. Now, another point is that how this database, this dynamic web page and this database, how they talk to each other. Okay, uh, in a human society also, and everywhere, when there is a communication between two objects or two people or two things, they need a communication medium. So the communication medium means that how they will understand each other and will provide information. So how this web page will talk to this database? Okay, what will be the medium between them? So the language that they talk to each other, that language is not HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. That is a different language which is called SQL. We will study this one also in detail today. So meaning to say, when we need to design a dynamic web page, we need an interface designed by HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and we need a database. Okay, so if we want to design a database, then we need a database management system. In our case, we will use MySQLite. Okay, MySQL and MySQLite, the I stands for improved version of MySQL. So we will use MySQLite database management system. But how we will use this MySQLite, there is different ways. Some people are using command base, which is a bit challenging and difficult. You need to remember all the commands. But there is another easy way, which is called graphical user interface to the database management system. In our case, we will use PHP My Admin. Okay, so now we will use PHP My Admin, then we will design a database, and database is actually uh, um, is a complete system. It contain tables, it contain views, store procedure, functions, and it also has a major component, how to manage users. You see, like for example, admin user and public user. So in the website, there will be some private section, some public section. So how to manage all these different privileges and how to control the access that some user could access some pages and some user cannot access. All these things are managed by the database management system. So now we will have to, I will show you how to design a database, how to create users, how to manage users, okay, all these different operations of database using PHP My Admin. There is a question that what is the difference between MySQL and SQL? MySQL is a database management system. Database management system is a complete software which contain server, which contain the same SQL. SQL is a language which stands for structured query language. And structured query language is a very general language, and many databases can support it. For example, MySQLi is an open source database management system. It is free, everybody can use, and a lot of software, a lot of professional software are using MySQLi, even Facebook. Okay, so MySQL is a database management system. It's a very complex and a big package. Inside this package is a server. Server is a software which maintain the databases, which complete the operations of databases, like insert data to the database, or retrieve data from a database. And the server also control users, like for example, to create a user, to manage users. Okay, so MySQLi is a database management system. Database management system is a complete package, and I hope you have studied in previous semester in a database subject. Okay, and SQL is only a language to apply while creating table, while creating database. So if you want to create a database, you will use SQL language to create. If you want to create a table, you will use SQL language to create. I will show you all these details, how to use it. So a short answer is that MySQL is a database management system, is a big package, complete package, which have many components, and SQL is only the language of databases. So let's continue, and I will show you PHP My Admin, and to create a database and to create user and to create tables. So let's open MySQL. Okay, to open MySQL, you need to on your XAMPP server. You see this XAMPP control panel. When you click this one, it will come to this tray. Okay, and here you see it is should be like this. And if your Apache and MySQL is not start, you click the start button. In my case, it is already running, so you see there is no start, it is stop. So it must be running in the background. When it is running in the background, let me show you from very beginning. Then if you just type localhost, you will get this page. I hope all of you are quite familiar with this. So then click PHP My Admin. When you click PHP My Admin is actually a user interface to MySQL. Okay, PHP My Admin is a user interface to MySQL. You see, PHP My Admin is a free software tool written in PHP, and the purpose of this is to handle the administration of MySQL. And today is MySQLi, okay, over the web. And PHP My Admin is used for operations such as managing databases, tables, columns, relations, indexes, users, permission, and so many other. Okay, and all these can be performed via user interface, and the user interface is the phpMyAdmin. Okay, and we will have to we can directly execute the SQL statements. We will explore this later. So phpMyAdmin is a graphical user interface to deal with MySQLi. To deal with means to create database, to create table, to create user, and all these operations are actually done and completed and will be carried out using SQL statement. But the benefit and the usefulness of phpMyAdmin is that using phpMyAdmin, we no need to type the queries, the SQL statement. We will, it is a graphical user interface. We will just click. Okay, so how to do? You see, it is this one. This is phpMyAdmin. When you click the phpMyAdmin in the localhost dashboard, you will get this like interface, and on the leftmost panel here is all the databases that you have created. If you have not created, then maybe just will be the built-in databases like UC phpMyAdmin, performance schema, MySQL, okay, information schema. These are the built-in databases. Some of this one like the community index, globe bank, this one I have created, and like laboratory information system, this one we will go in detail. I have created the test, I have created. So maybe in your case the databases are different from my one. Let's continue. So okay, when you get this interface, on the leftmost side will be the databases, and this is the interface. The top you see the server, this one is the server, the local host, and note this point. When we type in the browser localhost, the localhost is you can say like a domain name. Like you see, when we type www.google.com or www.unimas.my, actually this is called domain name. So the domain name is unique throughout the world. Okay, for example, there is no other website like www.unimas.my. Only one website in the whole world. It is called domain name. Okay, and the domain name for local computer, when we are developing the software and using our own computer and it is not available online yet, then it is called localhost. And the IP address of this localhost is 127.0.0.1. It is a universal IP address assigned to localhost, and every domain has IP address. Like for example, the www.unimas.my, you see we are typing in words unimas.my, but at the back end is actually an IP address is assigned. Okay, and that IP address is unique throughout the world. This is why when you type www.unimas.my, then you are getting only Unimas page. You cannot get anyone else, and nobody else can register a domain name, because when you are buying, actually domain names you will have to buy. When you are buying a domain name, then if you select, like let's suppose www.unimas.my or unimas, yeah, so if you are selecting the same one, the system will tell you that this is already taken, meaning to say in the whole world it will be unique. And in local production computer, it is localhost, and the localhost IP address is 127.0.1.0.1. If what does it mean? If you see, if you just type this IP address in a new in your address bar, for example 127.0.0.1, if I type this, I will get the same localhost. You see, I get the same localhost and the same dashboard. So meaning to say it is the IP address of the local host, the local computer that we are using right now, and the pages and the MySQL is installed on that. Okay, inside this server, this is a server now because it is MySQL server, MySQLi. Okay, if I am using MySQL and MySQLi, you consider as MySQLi, because now is the I stand for the improved version. The MySQL is an older version, okay, and maybe in a future, very soon, the MySQL will not work anymore. So MySQLi only work. There is a big, little bit, not little bit, too much difference between the commands of MySQL and MySQLi. Okay, so then it has this menu, databases. So if you click this, you will get all the databases. If you want to type the SQL queries, you can click this one. The status, the user control, export, import, setting, replications, all these and some other more. I will go through in much more detail. Everyone, we will get the main page. So click here, the user accounts. Okay, so you see these are the default users in MySQL, not default one, this one I have created. You see, this one I have created. So you see, this is the point that in an organization you will specify different type of users. For example, admin user can modify structure of the database, and normal users cannot modify. Okay, so how to specify all these things, let me show you. So you see, here is new, is add a new account. Okay, so when you click this one, it will bring you to this page. So here specify the username. For example, in this case I will just say a general user, or maybe G user. Okay, general user. This general user will be where, in which computer, in which server it will work. Okay, he or she will work. So this will be, you see here is written any host. In this case we don't have many hosts, we have only one, which is local host. Okay, so local host meaning to say the same computer that we are using. So select local. When you click select local, here automatically will be written local host, and that will be the local host that we are using. You see this one. Okay, and after that password you will have to specify and retype the password. So you can specify, most of the time try to use long password. For security rules, a long password, even simple one, maybe don't have too much symbols, numbers, alphabet, lowercase, uppercase. Long password is more secure than a short password which have many different characters. So simple long password is more secure. So try to select a long password. But now this is just for learning purpose. I will just type 1234434. You see, it's give me extremely weak, but no problem, because we are not designing actual website. So 1234. Okay, after that, if you want to, don't select yourself. If you want that the system should select for you, then you can create this one. You see, generate password, it will generate for you. We don't know what type of password. You see, it is strong. So but I think we should select our own, and because we need to remember. Okay, after that, this one, you see, global privileges, database for the user. So you see which database you want to that this user should work on. You see, in this case, you see our this far class database is already selected. So the user is for this database, or maybe for the whole server. Okay, this user can use any database. And now inside a database, this user can do what? This user can select means, you see, allow reading data. This user can insert data, this user can update data, this, so, and delete data, and this user can importing data or exporting data files. Do you want to give all these rights, these privileges to the user? If you want that this is an admin user, then just click this one, all rights are given. And if you are going to design a user which is only like a general user, then you just select this one, that this one can only read. It cannot insert, it cannot update, it cannot delete, or only insert and read, but cannot update. So it's up to you. Okay, and all these things will be decided by the developers team. and by the organization. Mostly users are following organizational policy. Okay, how many type of users are there? For example, in our Unimas case, you see in the ELEAP, lecturers have different privileges. Different lecturers can create and create resources, share files. Okay, and user have student have different privileges. So actually all these privileges are controlled using these privileges. And the calm people who manage the and who design the ELEAP, they are the admins, so they have all privileges. So if you want to give all privileges from data point of view, select this one. These are structural privileges, meaning to say that the user can make changes in the structure of the database or structure of a table. So you see, this user can create a table our database. This user can change databases and tables, indexes, drop, it can delete, create temporary tables. So there may be some temporary table, show, you see, views, routine. These are the different type of objects and entities inside a database. So if you want that the user can do all these things, then select this. If you want to give only some privileges, then select that particular privileges. In our case, I will select all because it is just for teaching purpose. Administrative purpose, you see, this user can have administrative purpose, meaning to say this user can give rights to other user, meaning to say, you see, allow adding user. So this user can create another user, not a table, not a database, another user. Okay, and super user and process and reload, all these options. So select this one. Okay, this one usually require none. SSL is the security certificate, which is the HTTPS. You know, there is a two type of website. One starts from HTTP, one starts from HTTPS. The S stands for security. So SSL is a certificate, is a security scheme, which nowadays is going to be compulsory, and there are several organizations that give you SSL. Okay, so you can specify that it should require SSL or not require what, but don't worry, this one just go through the default one. Okay, so once you select all these properties and these privileges for a user, then click go, and you will see that a user is created. You see, you have added a new user. So new user is added now, and you see, we did all these operation by graphical user interface, but actually at the back end this query run. Okay, you see this query run, and this is called the SQL, structured query language. Okay, so if I click databases, you see all the databases are displayed here. So here we can even create more, we can delete. You see, if you select this one and click here drop, meaning to say it will be deleted. Okay, you can modify the privileges, all those stuff. Okay, so if you want to create a new database, for example, in our case, for this lesson, we will use the template that Miss Un has created for us. Okay, so this database I created for the purpose of the template which is designed by Miss Un. I give the name inventory laboratory inventory system. If you see, it is about the inventory inventory database management system. Here you see laboratory inventory system, LIS. So what does it mean? That in a laboratory we have, you see, so many equipments, that if we want to manage and keep record of all these things, all the equipments, that later on for audit purpose or for our record purpose, all the equipments that we have should be properly stored in a database, and we should know the details of each equipment and who is responsible to manage all these equipment. So for this purpose I designed this database. Now I am showing you generally that how to design a database. Then go back, you can click this server, okay, or you can click this home button to go back to the main page of PHP MyAdmin. So here, if you click again databases, then we have the option here to create a database. So here I will just create a database. For example, I will give a name for class. Okay, for class. So this will be the database name, and here this one is called collation. You see, collation. The collation means that when data is stored inside the database, then how the characters are stored. There will be a string data, there will be comparison between strings. Okay, a lot of string processing are there. So what type of engine, what type of mechanism should be used for handling the data inside the database? It has a lot of detail. We will not go in this in this too much detail, but if you see, the default one is UTF-8 MB4 General CI. The UTF-8 is the character scheme, that how the characters will be stored and how many character it will support, and it is a general one, and CI stands for case insensitive. C, case I insensitive. So there are many. You see, the best one that we should use is this one. The general one is also, actually, if you look at the general and this one, you see UTF-8 MB4 Unicode CI, or maybe the general one, anyone you can select. Both these are same. Where is general one? General, yeah, this one. So you see, if you bring your mouse over on it, you will get, where is it? Yeah, you will get the same. You see, Unicode UCA 4.0.0 case insensitive, and the same thing is here. You see Unicode UCA 4.0.0 case insensitive. This is actually provided, this engine, by the MySQLi about the database, to handle the database. So it's up to you if you want to select the default one, or if you want to select this Unicode. Okay, so you simply, to be very simple, you just type the name, don't care, just use the default one, and then click create button. When you click create button, you see this database is created for class and automatically selected also. You see, when it is this uh, here it is shown that which database is selected. If you want to go back to the main one, click the server. This one is selected. Now this is an empty database. You see, it doesn't have any table yet. Okay, so now to create a table, we will give a name here for a table, and how many fields you want in this table. For example, this the main purpose of this is about the inventory system. So inventory system means the equipments here that we have in this lab. So to manage all the equipment, so let's create a table with the name of equipment. Okay, so the name of the equipment, the name of the table will be equipment, and this will be the number of columns. Note the point, each column represent one property of the equipment. So the best way, that before coming to PHP My Admin and before creating directly a table, you should have a homework for this. You should, this is why the analysis, system analysis and design come in. You should have a proper requirement analysis, a proper data flow, a proper ERD diagram, and then each ERD here will change to a table. So let's suppose if we have an equipment table here. Okay, so just from design point of view, so the equipment table will contain how many columns. So generally each table should have an ID, which is a unique primary ID. I will show you how to do it. Then the equipment name. Okay, name of the equipment. Okay, we can you can use as much details as you want, but for simplicity here I will use like model, meaning to say this equipment is created by which company, or what model is it. Okay, and release year, that when this equipment is released, um, a release year underscore year, comma, Next column should be like a person in charge who is responsible to maintain this lab. Person in charge, sorry, a bit difficult to write, okay, comma, and maybe a description of the equipment, description. Okay, so just to be simple, I will use these columns: id, name, model, release year, person in charge, and description. If you want to add more, you can add as many as you want. Okay, so these are how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 columns. Then I will change this 4 by 6. If you if you create 4 now, later on also you can add columns if you want. I will show you how to add. Okay, so I will change this one to 6. There will be 6 columns, and then click go. If I click go, you see 6 columns are created, but again each column should have a name. Okay, a name. So the first column name, and this one was the one that I wrote for you. So the first one column name should be id. What type of data it will store? It will store integer. You see, all these are the different data types that MySQL support. Okay, so in this case it is id, and it will be a numeric number, so it should be integer. You can specify its length, how much length. So this will be the number of digits in one id. Okay, default one, if you want to specify that if the user didn't enter any id, what should be the default? But we are planning that this id will be a primary key, so primary key cannot be null. Okay, cannot be empty, so this is why we are not providing null. Okay, again, if you want to change collation for column level, you can change. I told you what is collation. Okay, after that, attributes. Let me a bit decrease this. Okay, attributes, you see, you can again specify that this should be binary, unsigned, or unsigned 0. So these are the types of integer. Okay, it should not be null, or it should be null. You see, it you will have to decide now. And here index means that this should be a primary key or not. So I want that this should be a primary key. Primary key in a database, in a table, is a unique number which cannot be duplicated and which cannot be null. For example, like a student metric number. Student metric number is unique. It cannot be null, and it cannot be duplicated. No two students have same metric number, and there is not possible. It is not possible that any student don't have an metric number. So meaning to say, the metric number is your id. So this id we will create as a primary key. So when I select primary key, I got this message that okay, on the basis of this primary key, indexes will be created, and indexes are for searching purpose. Okay, so you just click go. Okay, so this is created. Okay, now we should select this one as not null, cannot be null. Another one, a underscore I, it stands, you see, it stands for auto increment. So this id I want to be auto increment. Auto increment, like the first one will be 1, second will be 2, 3, 4, 5. It will automatically increment, and we no need to type. So how many equipments we will enter, the id will automatically increment. If you want to comment sometime, you can comment. For example, sometime we need to uh, uh, to write some commands, then later on the co-developers, because most of the time the development is in a team, that they should know. So you can type some commands for them, like this field is a primary key, let's suppose like this. Okay, so this is the first column. Second column is the name of the equipment, and name is string value. And string value in MySQL, you see, I hope you already know this is the character value, and in MySQL it is called varchar. You can, if you want a big more text, you see it show the length. Okay, and here it show the length, you see. So for normal name we need the varchar is enough. If you want a big text like a paragraph, a complete paragraph, then you should select text. So varchar, you can specify its length. So normally we should I will select 255. I hope that no name is larger than this. Okay, default value we don't want to specify, collation we don't want to specify, the rest it is not a primary key. Okay, it is not auto increment, so we don't want to select anything else, only name, type and length. Next column will be model, that this equipment is of what model. The model is also a string value. Okay, so we can specify 255. Next one, we don't want to specify anything, should be used default one. Next column should be release year, that when this was released. Okay, so the year, release year should be integer value like 2021, 2022, 2020, 2015 and so on. Okay, it should not be more than let's suppose 50. Okay, next one should be the person in charge. Person in charge, and person in charge is a person name, so it should be varchar and hopefully should not be the name more than 50. Okay, and last one is a description. Okay, and description, if you want that it will have a lot of too much description like a one complete paragraph or two paragraph, then you can select text, but I think varchar is still okay, no problem. So until this, you see we specify all the 6 columns. Now if we click this button save, it will be created for us. Okay, and another thing you see here is written storage engine. The MySQLi supports many storage engines. Okay, if you click this help button, it will lead you to the documentation, and in the documentation there is a lot of details. Okay, if you see here, it go to this, you see all the engines which are available in MySQLi, and every engine has pros and cons. Okay, simply engine is a software which manage all the operations on this database and on the table. So we are not going into much detail. So the engine is the default one is InnoDB. This is the default one and is a very updated one. If you want, if you know and if you are clear, you can change. Previously in MySQL was my ISAM, but now is InnoDB. Okay, leave it and just use default and click save. You see the table is created. ID, here you will see the key symbol. So you see this field is a key, so meaning to say it's a primary key. Okay, and the name and everything has been defined. Still, if you want to modify any of this one, maybe if you mistakenly type if there is a spelling mistake in the names, you can simply click, you see here, this change, and it will bring you back to this one, and now you can change again. Okay, so if you want to delete one of the column, you decided, or maybe your team decided that okay, this column is not needed, then you will have to drop. But not the point. This is a structural level changes. You should do these changes and this design before coding. Once you complete coding and later on you change design, you will face a lot of problem, because these names will be used in the coding later. So be very careful. Okay, if you want to add some more columns, then you see you can type here, add 1 or 2 or 3, as many columns you want, and where you want. It should be after the description, or it should be after the ID, or after the name. Okay, in this way you can, or at the beginning of the table, whatever you want, you can add as many as you want. Okay, I don't want anyone, so this should be the table at this moment. Okay, so if we go to our far class database again, we see here that there is one table. You see one table now. Okay, and if you click this one, you see this one, we will get the all the fields, all the columns, but no data is there, therefore nothing has been displayed. Okay, if you want to insert data to it, we can actually insert. For example, if you click this insert, okay, Then you see all these are the field, and we can insert the data. We should not enter the ID because it is auto increment. Okay, so this the name of the equipment, let's suppose it is a mouse. Okay, it is a mouse. A model is, let's suppose it is made by HP, and release year is, let's suppose 2020. Okay, person in charge is who, let's suppose me, and description, it is, or it belongs to FSKPM. Okay, and then you click go. If you want to insert two belongs, two values at a time, you see you can type here also again, you see, and then click this go. If you want to insert one value, then click this go. So if I click this go, you see one row is inserted, and you see for that insertion the SQL is this one. So if I copy this SQL now, okay, and if I come here to this interface, I can copy here. So you see insert into the equipment ID name blah blah blah. So you see I will remove the ID because it is auto increment in this case. So auto increment here, the null value will I also remove because it was for the ID. Okay, name is mouse. Here I will change to keyboard. Okay, it is also made by HP. Model is 2020. Who is person in charge should be the same. It belongs to. If you want to change, you can change anyone. Juan, I should use your name. Okay. So you see, this is the SQL. So if I click again go, another user will be entered. You see one row entered, and now there are two rows. So if I click now the equipment, you see one is mouse. Oh my god, the K is small. You see, yeah, okay, no problem. So you see the K is small, the rest are capital. I is small, the rest are capital. If you want to modify this data, then you can click edit. You see here I can do this. Oh my caps lock is on. Keyboard and HP and this one okay. So if I click this time we will not insert any value. This time we'll update existing value. If you look at this, you see, sorry, it is update equipment. We will talk about this later in detail, but you see this is the SQL language. Okay, so we created a database, we created a user. If we go to this to the main server and go to user account, we have the general user here. We have the general user. Okay, the general user here, it is on what server? Localhost. Password, yes, it has a password. Usage, it has all privileges. You see, all privileges it has, and the privileges are granted. If you want to edit its privileges again, you can click this edit privileges. You will come to this page again, and you can edit. Okay, you see here is SQL is created automatically for us, thanks to the developers of PHPMyAdmin. Okay, so user account, this user, these are default one, this root is default one, this one I created. Okay, let's continue. We created user, tab, database and table. Now we can if we want, most of the time when there is a database and the database contain a lot of useful informations, so we need to back up the database. Backup means, I think all of you know, like backup of the phone that we are syncing to some cloud space. Okay, so backup means that if something happened to the server, or if your data lost or your computer crash, whatever happened, then the data should not be lost, it should be saved properly. So how to create backup in PHPMyAdmin? Then you click export. Okay, export, and here you see you can select here the database is selected. You see, actually this will automatically select the backup of that database that you like. For example, in this case it is far class, this one that I created. So this one is selected. If I click export, so the backup of this one will be created. You see, exporting tables from this backup, from this database. Okay, so all the tables will be exported including the data. Okay, everything is done. Just use the default one. Just click export and then click go. When you click go, you see here you will see that the data backup is downloaded. So you see it is the database name and SQL. Okay, database name and SQL. So if you open it, actually it has simply SQL statement. Okay, let me open for you. If you open it, it is just SQL statement and everything is there. You see, SQL blah 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 blah. You see all the values and everything are there. Yeah. Okay, let me close it. Now come back to this. Now come back to PHP my admin. Okay, now let's me delete this one. Okay, if I want to delete, you see, I will just click. If you want to make it empty means just remove the data. Okay, but if you want to click drop, okay, the whole everything will be dropped. Yeah, this and then drop. Okay, yes, it will be deleted. So you see the database now don't have any table. Okay, we can delete the database also. Okay, but at this moment let me import now, meaning to say we got a backup and now how to restore a backup. To restore a backup, you will create the database manually. The name of the database you will create manually. Okay, to delete a complete database, select the database and then go to operations and then go down here. You see remove database. Okay, then click this one, drop the database. It means this will delete the database and all the tables inside this database and all the data inside this database. Be careful when you are performing this operation. So I will delete it because I know I have created this one. So you see the far class database gone. Now if I want to restore the database that I have make a backup of this, so then I will create the database name manually. Okay, like far class, everything should be the same. Then now the database is already there. Now to restore the data and all the tables, even if it has thousands of tables, hundreds of tables, you can simply restore like this. Just click import, and when you click import, then choose file, and in a choose file you go to the file that we have downloaded right now. It is where it will be down. It is far class. Oh my gosh, yeah, it is far class, this one. Okay, so select this one, far class MySQL, cancel. Oh, again by yeah, far class, this one is selected. You see is the same file, far classes dot SQL. Okay, so once you select the file, don't change anything, just go down to the end of the page here and just click go. When you click go, you see import has been successfully finished. 15 queries executed. So if 15 queries means the tables and the data, everything, the tables are created and then the data inside that is created. All these 15 queries are executed in the backend. And now if you go to the equipment table, you see the table is there and the two data, exactly the same data that we created last time, is there. So this is the way how to create backup of a database and how to restore backup of database. So I hope we almost covered the brief introduction of database management system using PHP my admin, how to create user, how to create database, how to create table inside a database, and how to design a table, and lastly how to create backup of that database and how to restore a backup.